Hi there, and welcome everyone. We're going to get started in just a couple of minutes. Thank you so much for your patience. Let me make sure that we're recording. All right. So, in KV Core's marketing section, the one thing that we always drive home is very, very important. Majority of your contacts are going to be responded to by Smart Campaign. But there's a couple other options in the marketing tab that, depending on how long you've been with us here at KV Core, you may or may not have played around with as well. Now, we really want to encourage that KV Core, the platform, can really be used as kind of a choose your own adventure. There's lots of features in KV Core. You don't have to use every single one of them to find it build a boost to your business. However, it's helpful to know what's available to you. And, if you've been around KV Core for a while and you haven't played with all the functions, it's a good thing to go back and learn something new. So today's topic specifically will be discussing the birthday and anniversary automation feature through the marketing tab. We're also going to take a deeper dive on how to add search alerts in mass. You may or may not already be aware that while you can individually add leads to search alerts or, direct your consumers to your website where they can sign themselves up for search alerts, you can also put a lot of leads on search alerts in mass, not through the CRM, but through the marketing tab. You do it by hashtag. You can apply that hashtag in mass. You can also kind of effectively use that as some follow-up for some of our lead generation tools. So I'll try to put some of those pieces together for you as well. And then last but not least, one of my favorite marketing tab features that I like to talk about are scheduled mass emails. Now, a lot of people will use campaigns to send out emails, or you can send an email immediately from the Smart CRM. But sometimes I find it really efficient just to carve out 20, 30 minutes on the weekend, create a scheduled mass email, maybe one for every holiday of the year, set it for the date I want it to send out, set it and forget it. I could also build things like newsletters through the scheduled mass email feature. So if I'm looking to send out emails in mass, there's lots of cool potential use cases there as well. So that is our goal today. Again, all this information is on that agenda sheet that I shared out in the chat. And all of the text in blue are clickable links that will lead you to our various support articles. So if you're looking for a deeper dive on any particular subject, feel free to check them out there. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the platform and let's head on over to that marketing tab. So again, in these navigation tools, marketing is about the fifth one down and most commonly accessed for those smart campaigns. Some other things that you'll see in here, your behavioral automation setup, explanation about lead validation. Additionally, you'll notice a lot of times in KV Core, some icons are green and some icons are blue. We want to emphasize if you're ever seeing these in KV Core, all the blue ones are your free, ready to use features within KV Core. If there's ones in green, they're typically kind of the purchasable add-ons. So just something, I get that question quite a lot here in KV Core. So some things in the marketing tab besides smart campaigns do you want to take a look at? We're going to start our journey off with birthdays and anniversaries. How do they work? How do you set it up? Pretty easy to do. So I'm going to go here and click on Learn More. And this is ready to go as soon as you join KV Core. As soon as you add a single contact to your Smart CRM, that has either a birth date or a home anniversary date. These can start right away. Now you'll notice I've got these turned on for every single status here in KV Core. Again, I know we've got a mixture of participants here today. Some of you have been with KV Core for a while, and we've got a couple of brand newcomers to KV Core. So a little reminder of those statuses, how you help differentiate your leads within KV Core. So those actively searching as opposed to those who you closed a deal with, as opposed to your new leads or your personal sphere of influence. It's toggled on for everyone. So no matter who has a birth date or a home anniversary date, they can receive these messages. Now you have complete control over this. Maybe I don't feel like I know my new leads well enough for them to receive things like email messages from me just yet. Makes sense to kind of toggle that off. Same thing with home anniversary. If it's a brand new lead, and I, for some reason, know the anniversary of when they purchased their home, if they're a new lead to me, I probably wasn't their real estate agent when they purchased the home originally. It might not be a good time for, it might not be my place to feel like I want to send them out a message for that. Same thing with prospect. A lot of people will argue that it's great just to send everybody messaging, to reach out to everybody, because you never know what kind of conversations that will prompt. So totally customizable. You can make arguments in either way, whatever makes sense to you. You do have these abilities to toggle them on and off. Again, I just have to do a single click to toggle it off for that status. So that's just one of the many ways I can customize this. Don't worry, we'll also get into how you can adjust this for individual leads as well. So that is another option. If you have any questions, hang on to your hats. We'll talk about that too. So additionally, you'll notice there's two separate sections, birthdays and anniversary of purchase. Additionally, I can customize the message that's being sent out. Now, something to note about messages here in KV Core. Same thing with things like behavioral automation. We always try to prioritize the text message. Think about how you respond to messaging personally. What is the likelihood that you're going to see a text message that's sent to you as opposed to an email? That email might sit in your inbox for a little while. So here at KV Core, we primarily always prioritize the text message, but we know depending on how that lead was captured or brought into the system, you might not have a phone number for them. So there is options for both. If you do not have their phone number in here, it will default to the email. Now, we have pre-created templates for you here in KV Core as well. Like I said, this is ready to go as is. So if I go and click on, sorry, I did that a little quick, click on change template under happy birthday text, I can go and I can choose a different KV Core template if I wanted to. Keep in mind, you can also create your own templates. We'll try to get into that as well. And here is the preview template that's just set up for you automatically. Just wanted to say happy birthday. Hope it's a great one. Are you doing anything fun? You'll notice it ends with a question, kind of a call to action, trying to get a response from that lead. So no matter what stage they're in, we're trying to start a conversation with them. Again, it's all about nurture here at KV Core. We want to get those responses. We want to start a dialogue. You'll also notice there's some little fancy brackets there. It says agent first name. If you're unfamiliar so far with what we call merge tags here at KV Core, those are used to auto-populate or auto-fill in information. So this will actually autofill in your first name within your account. So it always looks personalized to you or to the person you're sending it to. And there's different merge tags that you can use for their name, for listings, for lenders, lots of merge tag options if you're creating your own custom template. So additionally, you'll also notice I've got some options I can run on the date of their birthday. I can choose to run before the date, and I can choose exactly how many days before. Maybe I want to send this about 2 days before. Not a bad practice to do, actually. I will say, if you think about how many email replies, how many text message replies people receive on their actual birth date, sometimes it's nice to, jump the gun a little bit. You might want to change the message, say it wanted to send out an early birthday welcome or a early birthday message to you, but it's a good way to kind of get in touch with them preemptively. It's a good way to kind of capture their attention so your message doesn't get mixed in with all the other messages they're receiving on the date. Additionally, you could choose to send a belated message. So there's an option for that as well. The email template here, with emails, they can add in things like photo images. Again, you can create your own custom templates. You can even use options such as our advanced email editor to add in things like videos to your template if you really wanted to dress this up. Some other fancy potential case uses if you're creating your own custom template. Think about if you have any connections within your neighborhood, your area. Do you know any kind of neighborhood vendors? You could potentially even do something like I've seen the example of someone created a custom birthday email template that included, here's a free coupon for a dozen baked cookies at this local bakerage, down the street. Now, not something that you could probably send to everyone, but would be great for, say local sphere contacts and just kind of a fun little extra additional bonus rather than just sending out an email or a text. Additionally, you could take this even, steps further. If you have a connection, you don't have to use it for a local bakery. This could be a coupon for, some sort of vendor that you partner with. And this could be kind of a mutual transaction. Maybe they're giving you a special deal or some sort of benefit for promoting them out as well. So lots of ways, just hopefully getting the wheels turning on different ways that you could use this for your business. And again, you'll see those same options here: run on the date, before the date, after the date. So I'll go ahead and close that out. Since we have pointed these out, again, same sort of options for home anniversary as well. Different image, different message here. Let's kind of get into how this works. Now, I mentioned that this is able to function as soon as you have contacts in your CRM with birth dates or home anniversaries. So that all depends on your contacts, specifically their profile details. If I went and clicked on a contact, profile details, this is a bad example. I don't have a lot of information on them, but you'll notice there's an area for birth dates, and we also have an area for, let's see where it is. Not seeing it on this one, I think because it's empty. There is a spot. Additionally, if I go to edit details for last closing date, there we go. Last closed, that would be their home anniversary. And you'll notice for this individual, if I had those dates populated, I can choose, maybe I don't know Megan that well, or maybe Megan's a little bit touchy about her birthday. Maybe that's not something she necessarily celebrates, and I know that about her. I have the ability to toggle those off personally for that contact as well. So some things to note there: you have the ability to customize it on a contact by contact basis as well. And again, nothing will be sent to them if I don't have those dates present. Now, if you're not sure if you have birth dates in the system, keep in mind you've got some very handy filters here in your smart CRM. If I go over to the contact detail section, I scroll down a little bit, there's actually a filter for whether or not they have or don't have a birthday. So again, if I want to check if I have birthdays in the system, I can go and filter for that. Now, currently, there isn't a last closing date filter. I do feel like that's something that will probably be added soon. Potential workarounds for that: keep in mind you can also search by who has a hashtag in the system. So if I'm adding in things like last closing dates, I might also consider adding on a hashtag for anyone I've closed a deal with. Keep in mind, I also have, if I've gone and I've closed a deal with them and I have that last closing date, I've probably also changed their status to closed. So another easy way to go and filter for those leads. So go and add that in there. There we go. So those are my closed leads. So many different ways that you can filter and sort for them and adjust it and customize it to that lead. Yeah, and Suzanne said, what hashtag would you write if you closed with them? I might say something like, I could do just hashtag closed. Again, hashtags are really up to you what it is that you use. You can use any phrase of your choosing, whatever is going to be most memorable for you, I would say. Really, the only exception with hashtags is no spaces. You could even do something like hashtag last closing date. That way you remember not only have I closed a deal with them, I've added their last closing date in there. So that's a potential hashtag for them. So just best practices, whatever makes sense for you, whatever you're going to best remember. Kind of another side note of that, if you have trouble, we're not going to take a deep dive in that today, but if you're having trouble remembering what hashtags you used previously, just a little keynote back in that marketing tab. Another thing that you have access to is if you go to hashtag management, you can see all the hashtags you've used previously. So if you have used something like hashtag closed or hashtag last closing date, or you try to use it again and you're like, which hashtag did I choose there? I don't quite remember. Feel free to go and check your hashtag management. All your hashtags will be listed there. All right, so that's one piece of the puzzle. You want to make sure, of course, that they have a date in the Smart CRM. But I also mentioned that while we have pre-created templates for you here in KV Core, you have the ability to really customize those and go kind of above and beyond if you wanted to. Some people, while they may have played around with smart campaigns, maybe haven't created their own custom templates. So if I go to Smart Campaigns, just so you go, that's where I go to pre-create templates in KV Core. Now, not just email templates, but text message templates as well. So if there's a template I know I want to use again and again, I can access that here. I think I may have even played around with it. I've created something like a little birthday template here. Yeah, so what I did was I went to my templates section here. And you'll notice there's the one that's been created by KV Core, happy birthday email. I think someone else has been playing around with my KV Core. I've got one's kitty face. I don't know if that's available for everyone. And I can go and I can create my own custom template. Keep in mind what kind of template you want to create, or if you want to create one of each to customize it. Again, if you're thinking about taking advantage of something like, sharing out a coupon or a deal or something specific for your birthday people. But I went and I created an email template, and it'll probably be scoped to you unless we have any admins in the house. Do be wary of who it is you're creating this template for, whether it's just for yourself or you're creating it for your brokerage. I'm going to choose a name. That's how I help tell it apart. So this could be something as simple as happy birthday. But keep in mind, if I'm creating this myself, this is not what the consumer is going to see. That's the subject. That's what they're going to see in that email. This is just for me to remember what this template is. I always recommend if you're creating your own templates in KV Core, do something like add your initials afterwards, or possibly even the date that you created it to help you remember, oh, that's my special birthday template. I created it on this date. Also helpful, if it's been a year or two, to go back in and check, oh, I haven't updated this template in a while. Maybe I want to give it a little facelift. So then I'm going to choose for an email template, the subject that I want them to see when they get that email in their inbox. So probably something like happy birthday would suffice. If I'm just doing a basic email, I could just type in the text here. Or keep in mind, we also have our KV Core Advanced Editor. If I am switching to Advanced Editor, which will allow me to add in videos, images, social media links, so many different buttons and fun things, keep in mind that if I have added text in the basic editor and I go to switch to the advanced editor, it will not save my changes. So do make that decision early on. Are you doing just a basic email, or are you doing something more advanced? So I'm going to go ahead and hit yes. Again, my subject, let's fill out happy birthday while this is loading. And there we go. I can add in some custom content such as a video. I could add another row in here and I could drag in some text. Maybe I want to add another row in there and add in, ooh, there we go, add in something like a button. And I can choose just some fun side things here. I won't go too deep in the weeds because it's very tempting. You can add in buttons that include things like sending them to a web page, send them an email. You can even do a feature where they click the button, they can make a call to you. You get to choose the telephone number. It'll actually put that call through. So some cool things here, kind of a fun kind of customization. If you wanted to do not just an image, which if you don't have your own images, you could also do things like, you know, free stock image of birthday. I think what I did in this case is I went over to YouTube here and I typed in birthday video. There we go, birthday video song. You might want to type in something like free birthday video. Keep in mind if you're choosing something online that someone else has hosted, might not always be hosted forever. So do make sure you're checking in on these. If you have your own YouTube page, again, always good to use your own videos and things like that. Make sure you have permission. So free stock is usually what I would type in if I'm using someone else's video to make sure it's okay to use their content. But that's just a little, I just played around with it a little bit. And as I said, I've created one previously. I'll go and click edit so we can take a little look at that one. What I populated in this one is I just did a little video of a birthday song. I also took advantage of those merge tags. So I used a merge tag that will populate their first name. Easy way to do that. So I added in that little block of text. There it is for merge tags. So you'll see all I did was pop in first name. And that means that whoever this is getting sent to, no matter who it is, it's going to grab their information from my CRM, make sure that email looks specific to them. I've also added my first name and my last name to the end of the email. So I kept this really short and sweet. Feel free to play with these however you like. Again, today's not a deep dive on the advanced email editor, but we do really appreciate your feedback. If this is an interest of yours, that may show up in a future Success Meetup webinar. So please let us know. For more information, again, I have included some links to support articles in this agenda sheet for you guys as well. So a little bit about birthdays and anniversaries. Additionally, keep in mind that those ones just show emails or text messages. You could get even more advanced for things like birthdays, kind of outside what we're talking about here today. Again, we're talking about underutilized features, but there is the ability to do things like campaigns, say, triggered by a specific date, so a date-based campaign. So birthdays or purchase anniversaries, you'll notice in my little agenda here, I've included a little bonus video, YouTube video created by us here at Inside Real Estate about date-based campaigns. Has some really great kind of side suggestions if you want a different kind of interpretation for that, if you want to send them multiple messaging out on the birth date, or if you maybe want to create a Zapier link to an outside source. Maybe you want to send them something like a physical postcard. That is kind of a little more advanced technique. That video goes into some explanation about it if you have an interest there. So just a little teaser. Just wanted to point that out for you guys as well. So let's go back to the marketing tab. And the next stop on our agenda is to talk a little bit about adding search alerts in mass. So I'm going to go ahead and click the Learn More button. I'm just going to open this in a new tab, but we'll go ahead and open it this way. So hopefully you guys are familiar with adding search alerts to your leads. If you're brand new here to KV Core, search alerts, also sometimes referred to as property alerts or listing alerts, can be set up for your leads individually through the Smart CRM. So a good way to check who I've got on search alerts. Again, we've got those handy filters. I can search by, their behavior, who has search alerts. I can adjust it for the individual if I'd like to. That's that property alert section right here. I can also access alerts up at the top. Additionally, I could drive consumers to my website and they can sign up for their own search alerts through it's usually labeled as a buy tab or a search tab on your website here at KV Core. But they have the ability to go and filter through these options and even save a search for themselves if they'd like. But of course, that requires them going to your website and doing it all themselves, which many times they might not. So what's an easy way if I wanted to put a lot of people on just a very general search alert? How would I do that? This is how you do it. You go to marketing, go to search alerts, and you create an alert. Pretty easy to set up. You are going to, again, Suzanne, you're going to choose a little hashtag here, whatever hashtag makes sense to you for your purposes. So maybe I want to, again, maybe I'm doing this kind of a general alert. Maybe I just want to put most of, say, my sphere. I know maybe all my sphere is located in the same general city or so. I just want to put them on a basic search alert. Again, they can always go and customize it through my website. They could unsubscribe if they wanted to. Just wanted to put people on something in mass, know that there's some automation going out. So I'm going to choose a hashtag for those people that will be receiving this alert. And maybe to remind myself that it's kind of a general alert, I might do hashtag general. I'm in California, so we're going to say general SD San Diego alert. And I'm going to create that hashtag. And then I'm going to choose a location. So at the very least, we do have to choose the area the search alert is based in. That's true of every search alert you create in KV Core. This is the bare minimum. You got to choose a location. I'm going to choose the city of San Diego. I could also do county or area, whatever fits for me. Depending on your location, you might even pull up things like school districts, so on, so forth. I could also choose to draw on a map. So just like regular search alerts or search alerts through your website, I could do a little polygon search. Maybe I also want to include this area over here and just exclude some in the middle. I could do that. And then I can choose things like keywords, options. Again, this is based on my MLS and what I have available. Maybe I'm focusing on people looking for fixer-uppers or people looking for homes around golf courses. Maybe I'm making a custom alert for just those looking for pool homes. You've got some options here. Now, the more criteria I choose here, the more I'm narrowing down their search results. Beds, baths, price range. Probably don't need to explain all these options to you guys. Pretty self-explanatory. But I will point out that you can also adjust the frequency. So most of the default search alerts in KV Core, say if you go to bulk import a list of contact with search alerts, those search alerts will usually go out weekly, once weekly. That's usually kind of a safe default. Now, again, if this is just kind of a general search that I'm setting on my sphere, I probably don't want to send it to them too frequently. I don't know how seriously they are interested. I might just set this for monthly. If I was creating this general alert for people I know that are looking for homes or very serious about getting into a home, in the next, say, 3 to 6 months, I might set the frequency to ASAP. So as soon as there's a listing that matches this criteria, they're receiving this alert. I have that ability to customize. And then I could choose a CC email address as well. Probably not something I want to do for something like a general alert that I'm putting lots of people on, unless I wanted to CC, say, my ISA or something, someone who wants to know every alert as it's being sent out. And then I go and I add the alert. And then all I have to do, so here's that hashtag I created, general SD alert. I'm going to go back to my CRM and I'm going to add that hashtag to the leads I want to receive this alert. Very important, you have to add the hashtag afterwards. If you go into marketing and you create a search alert by hashtag on a hashtag that's already existing in your KV core account, it won't kind of retroactively apply it to those leads. So keep in mind, you're going to want to add the hashtag afterwards. So I said this one was for my sphere. I'm going to go to my filters. I'm going to toggle on my sphere. If I really wanted to narrow it down, I could use the other filter criteria. Go and apply those filters. Additionally, now I have, this is just a demo account, so I don't have a ton of leads in here, but I do have, I've got 30 sphere contacts. Keep in mind, check how many rows are selected. In my demo account, I can only see 10 rows of contacts at a time. For your accounts, you can view 50, 100, I think all the way up to 250 contacts at a time. So make sure to adjust the rows if you're trying to click on everybody at once. I can do it 10 by a time. And I'm going to go to this more actions drop down. I'm going to choose add hashtags. And I'm going to give everybody this hashtag, general SD alert. I'm going to update their tags. And that should trigger the search alerts to start sending out for them. So really that simple, how to apply search alerts in Mass by hashtag. Just some other kind of tips or tricks for kind of putting those pieces together. If you're utilizing tools from our lead engine, such as our lead capture options, landing pages, squeeze pages, I'll go and click on some for an example. So I've created some, let's see, I think I've got some open here. I've created some for, landing pages, Texas code to get more details about my open house in Beverly Hills, or, I've done them for people looking for land in Temecula. I've got a little video here. If you guys have more interest in landing pages, again, I can point you to some resources, some great videos on how to build them for that. Again, not our focus here today. But for example, I show this example quite a lot. I've created this landing page for San Diego fixer-upper listings, and I'm offering them. If you go and sign up here, you're going to get a free weekly list of TLC opportunities. If free weekly list of properties sounds familiar, what I'm offering here is a search alert set up to send out weekly. So to kind of follow this piece up, after I go and create this landing page however I like, and I go and I post it out on social media to go capture some leads, I also decided that any leads captured through this landing page, and here's what it looks like if I'm going and just browsing through my past landing pages. This is that fixer-upper landing page I created. I also get to choose the hashtag that they receive. So kind of another piece to that as well is after I generate some leads from this landing page that get this hashtag applied, I could also decide to create a search alert for those fixer-upper leads as well. I think I've done that here somewhere. Let's see. Oh, maybe I haven't. So I'll go ahead and I'll create an alert for that. Type in hashtag fixer-upper. There we go. And I would type in again, I'm offering fixer-upper properties in San Diego. Oop, there we go. Jump the gun there. San Diego. And I went and I chose from things like options, fixer-upper. And I'm going to add the alert. So now any leads I capture from there, when they come into my CRM with that hashtag, this search alert will trigger for them. So just a nice piece of follow-up to that lead capture that I've created through KV Core. So just try to put some of those pieces together. All right, so additionally, we got one more stop on our marketing train here today. One of my favorite options here is the scheduled mass emails feature. Lots of potential uses here as well. Now, keep in mind, you could create an email campaign as well. But there's different ways that these can work. You can apply people to campaigns in mass. Campaigns are also really great if you want to do a combination of, maybe some emails and some text messages, maybe schedule some calls in there. You can build out a whole campaign that has a fluid chain over the course of, so many days, months, weeks, send them a variety of messages. but maybe I just want to send just emails and I want to set them and forget them. I'm going to use scheduled mass emails for that. And I've created some for holidays. I've done some to promote out listings. Additionally, I really like this option for things like newsletters. So I could, if I really wanted to get ahead of schedule, I could create a newsletter. I could create a different email for, maybe I want to send it out on the 30th of each month. So I'll create one for September 30th, create out this email, schedule it, and then come back and create another one for October 30th, and then one for November 30th. You get the idea. So I can set them all ahead of time and forget about them. Some things to note with scheduled mass emails is I get to be really particular about who receives this email. Now I can choose contacts from a saved filter in my CRM. So you notice I've saved some filters here. If you're not sure how to save a filter, I'll go back to the CRM afterwards and I'll give you a little hint on how to do that as well. You'll remember hashtags are everywhere in KV course, so convenient for searching, for sorting, and for setting up automation. So again, maybe I'm using that fixer upper landing page to capture leads, and maybe rather than just a search alert, maybe I also want to send them an email. So I could do hashtag email. Maybe I want to, and same thing with newsletters too. If you don't want to send that newsletter to everyone in your database, maybe hashtag them with hashtag newsletter. So you can help differentiate just the people who should be receiving that newsletter. Easy way to pinpoint them. Same thing with holiday emails. Another great hashtag to use. Alternatively, I can send it to all the contacts with a particular KV core status. And pro tip here, if you want a quick and easy way to send an email to every single person in your CRM, you'll notice that when I went back to that CRM and I was adding people to a hashtag en masse, I had limits as to how many rows I could view at a time. It was, 50, 100, 250. If you've got over 250 contacts in your database, but you want a quick way to send them all an email, come here and you can actually choose every single status and effectively send that message to everyone. It's a little fun side pro tip there. So I have the ability, again, to use some of those pre-created templates. And again, don't feel like you have to recreate the wheel. We've got lots of options here built into your messaging for KV Core. So post-call email. We've got some great holiday options as well. So we've got some New Year's here. I'll let it load up so we can take a little visual. Again, anything that includes a photo image, it's going to automatically switch it over to the advanced email editor. So that's why you're seeing there's an option. If I want to switch back to the basic email editor that just allows me to add in just text, I can switch back. But it's gone and it's put me in advanced email editor mode for this template. And there we go. It's ready to go for, I can go ahead and set this for the new year. Maybe I'll go ahead and do that right now. So I'll go ahead and I'll set it. Do I want to set it for the date? We'll set it for the 31st. How about that? I can even choose the time that it sends out. Probably don't want to send it, in the early AM. So maybe I want to set it about, 1 p.m., something like that. Whatever seems best for you. And I can really leave this exactly as it is. I can just go ahead and hit that schedule button. It's gonna think about it. There we go. So date scheduled. I'll also see a check mark if this email's already been sent. Obviously, we haven't hit the date that it's scheduled for, so there's no check mark there just yet. And it will try to estimate how many contacts will receive that email as well. Even after I schedule it, I still have the ability to go back and edit that email if need be, or I can choose to remove it. I can also view past emails that I've sent through the system. Another little example of a template, because I talked about newsletters. Again, I have heard requests in the past. Someone would love a deep dive review on how to create a newsletter with KV Core. That may be something that's coming up soon for one of our KV Core Success Meetup webinars. So we have heard your requests. That may be coming one day soon. But yeah, so we have a template for newsletters as well. It just kind of defaults the formation. Feel free to add in your own headers, images. You can remove text, remove sections, but it's also got things like buttons built in. Buttons are really cool because you can direct them again to a web page, make a call, make a text message. Lots of fun things to play around with. So it's basically built out for you. You just fill out the information that you need. And this is just one example of a template. You can also just create something entirely from scratch. All right, so hopefully gave you some food for thought there. Oh, let me also quickly touch on saved filters as well, because as I mentioned, when you go to schedule a mass email, it can be by their status, send it to everybody with the same hashtag, or you can do it by saved filters. So keep in mind, if you want to send something very specific, maybe I want to send a mass email to everyone looking for pool homes as soon as my open house goes live. And I want to just plan it ahead of time so I don't have to remember to send out that email. So I don't have to go in my CRM and send it out on the day or something like that. So maybe I'll create a scheduled mass email ahead of time to remind people. But in that case, I probably don't want to send it to everyone in my active lead status, or maybe I don't want to send it to everyone with hashtag pool home. Maybe I want to be really, really specific. Again, I can go and choose multiple filters here. So active lead, buyer, maybe even add hashtag pool home, because maybe I have that hashtag on some past clients or, some prospects too. Maybe I just want to send it to my active leads here. I could get really, really specific. I could go and save that filter and I can name it. So I could do, active lead buyer pool home. So I'm getting super specific with this. I don't have to pin this filter to the top. That's a way that you can easily go to your filters again and again, rather than looking at all your smart CRM contacts. If I'm just using it for the purposes of something like a scheduled mass email, maybe it's not something I'm checking all the time, but I just want it as a saved filter for the scheduled mass email purpose, I can go and just click saved new filter. And if I haven't pinned it, I've just got all those options right here. If I decide later, maybe I do want to pin that up here so it's easy access, I can click on that filter and I can, what I did, sorry, skip through that a little fast. I click this little gear box here and I can check that it becomes a quick link on the CRM. There we go, save it. And then just some ways that I can easily access. If I go hover over Smart CRM, there's that saved filter. Or if I go and I scroll a little bit to the right here in my CRM, there we go. We'll play around with it this way. I can go and I can filter over that way as well. So saved all at the top or saved through here. So a couple different options for you guys, different ways to utilize those marketing tools. Let me know in the chat, have you used all of these tools? Is there one that you're looking forward to trying out? Do you have any additional questions about them? Saw in the chat there, Ryan says, when you have a campaign set with several texts and emails, will the campaign stop if the client responds? This is adjustable to stop some campaigns and keep them going. Oh, that's a really great question. Oh yeah, absolutely. So let's dive into that. Before I do, I'm going to pop in another support link in the chat. Since I haven't added any support articles about scheduled mass emails, I'm going to make sure, or sorry, about smart campaigns, because that wasn't our subject today, but I'll make sure I'll talk about that too. I'm going to pop that in the chat for you guys. So if you need any more backup information on what I talked about here, we're going to get into that a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about how campaigns are triggered. There's also a little trigger overview here. And the always run feature. So in KV Core, if and I apologize, I don't know where you are in your journey, if you've been with us for a while or if you're brand new to KV Core. You'll notice in the KV Core Smart CRM library that we've got campaigns for every kind of conversation you'd have with a lead. So we've got new lead buyer, we've got active lead buyer, we've got client buyer, and same things with seller campaigns as well. So different campaigns depending on where they are in their journey, because you don't want to respond to, say your new lead buyers in the same way you would to, someone you've closed a deal with. Not those messages aren't always appropriate for them. So a big thing to point out here, if you're using our KV Core default campaigns, so a great example is, say you got a new lead, came in through the website, through that search tab, they're looking to buy a home, and you haven't reached out to them personally yet, but you have our KV Core new lead buyer campaign added in your campaign library, and it's turned on, so it gets applied to that lead. So they're starting to get nurtured through that campaign in KV Core. Now, if they start to reply to those messages, they're responding to that nurture, and maybe they reply in a positive way, like, yes, I am searching for homes, in 3 to 6 months. KV Core is going to sense that they can register that they have replied to your messaging, and KV Core is actually going to change that new lead to an active lead in KV Core. And if you also have active lead buyer campaign turned on KV Core, they are meant to change campaigns automatically, because it's based on what campaign is best geared for them. It's based on their status and their deal type. So it's going to shift gears for you. Some ways to kind of help identify that easily, and I apologize, my campaign library will look crazy because this is a test account. So I'm going to focus on just the default campaigns in my library to give a little visual perspective. So a good way to note, if you're new to KV Core, check your campaigns, check which ones are turned on. Blue is on, gray is off for all the toggles in KV Core. You also want to be aware of their starts when and designed for, so their status and their deal type. So here's what I mean. We've got new lead buyer. There we go. New lead buyer is meant for just your new lead buyers. Got a combination of channels, certain amount of touches. You'll notice right here it says always run no, because it will change depending on their status. This will not always run for till the end of time. It will run as long as this status applies to that lead and it's the appropriate campaign for them. It is meant to change if they change statuses. You'll notice that for just about all the default campaigns, they should say always run no. Now, on the flip side, if you wanted a campaign to always run no matter what, so I think I briefly mentioned you could do something a little fancy like create a date-based campaign. So say a birthday campaign. That doesn't matter what their status or deal type is. And you want that to always run, even if a different campaign is running. So if they're on, your default closed campaign here in KV Core, so they're a past client of yours, you closed a deal with them, but you also want them to receive a special birthday campaign. That birthday campaign, you're going to want to make sure that does always run. So no matter what other campaigns applied, the other campaign doesn't turn off. I hope that helps to clarify. If that confused you more, I apologize. Again, make sure to check out that support article. Please let me know if you are a little bit confused by that. I can try to explain it in a different way, but I hope that helps to provide some clarification. Excellent. Thank you. All right. So yes, the default campaigns here in KV Core are meant to switch based on their status. If you're using the default ones in KV Core, they should stop and change. If you're, however, creating something like a custom campaign, you do have the ability for that to always run. But just know for most of those, you probably don't want them. You want them to switch and trigger. And we realize that here at KV Core, and that's why we've designed them that way. So just a little refresher. If you guys did come in late, popping our agenda in the chat as well for all those links for you guys that we've reviewed here today. Those different marketing tools. Again, if you haven't tried these out, start implementing one of these features. Create a scheduled mass email. Check that someone's receiving birthday messages through KV Core. Go ahead and play around with them. I've got some additional helpful articles, links to our YouTube channel, Facebook discussion group, and I mentioned that this recording, I'll go and pop it at the bottom here as well. I've also got a QR code if you're looking for some KV Core marketplace suggestions as well. So let's see, we've got another question in the chats. An admin question on importing Zillow leads. Do you have a training video on that as well? Ooh, yeah, great one. Okay, I know I switched the sheet and we're already going to switch back out. So first of all, let me go ahead and talk about Zillow. I won't really be able to give you a full visual breakdown of Zillow from an admin perspective because I'm working in an agent account right now. What I would recommend to you, I'm going to pop in some support articles for you. So Zillow Tech Connect just breaks down the easy way to set up a Zillow just for any individual. But of course, as an admin, you've got some different, you may also want to set up some routing rules. So there may be some additional pieces to that. If you're in the middle of the onboarding process right now, then hopefully you have access to your onboarding manager or your implementation specialist. If you have already launched with your brokerage, make sure to reach out to your account manager. They should be able to help you if you need help with this process. What I would recommend for you as an admin, if you're looking for additional training, make sure to check out on the dashboard our training calendar. Hopefully you're already familiar. If you guys found your way here by yourself, probably accessed our training calendar right here on the main screen. If not, welcome to it. Feel free to check out all the live webinars we hold every single week. You're going to choose the time zone that applies to you. And then just so you know, any admin content, we have a live webinar for admins every Wednesday and Friday. So if you want kind of a walkthrough of Zillow, they might be able to do something like that. It is with our trainers. It depends on if they have access to a Zillow account to really give you a formal walkthrough. But there is a lot of screenshots in that Zillow Tech Connect guide. And if you are experiencing, again, any bugs or issues, highly recommend reaching out to your account manager, or you also should have access to our support team. So you can send them a message. You can also reach out to support by email, or you can, I believe, call them as well. All right, so I hope that helps. We've got about 2 minutes before I gotta shove off to the next webinar. But do we have any more questions, whether it's related to our topic today or questions about anything else KV Core related? Feel free to pop those in the chat or give me some feedback. Was this helpful? Was this information you already knew? Did you learn anything new today? Are you excited to use any of these features? Any feedback at all? Any questions? I'm here for it. We've got a couple of minutes left. I'm going to put on just a little background music for fun while I'm waiting for those questions to come in the chat. If this is all you had time for today, I thank you so much for your time, your attention, and I hope you have lots and lots of success here with KV Core. Thank you so much.